auction. There are still plenty of great things to bid on, and yes, there is something for everyone, including families with kids and people who are looking for low-cost and fun social opportunities. Auction information has previously gone out as a special announcement in your email, so double-check your inboxes if you haven't seen it yet. Join diverse and revolutionary Unitarian Universalist multicultural ministries, known as DRUM. Concerned Unitarian Universalist ministers, religious professionals, lay leaders, the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the UU Service Committee, the UU Women's Federation, UUs for Justice in the Middle East, and more for a vigil for Gaza next Sunday, June 9th at 7 p.m. For more information and to register for the Zoom link, visit drum, that's with 2 M's, .org/events. And finally, happy birthday to John Montgomery, turning 85. Right there. And Kathleen Ellis, and in my day, a woman never tells her age. Please join us for cake and coffee in Housen Hall after the service to celebrate. Now, let all who have gathered in beloved community, whether in virtual space or in person, join our spirits in worship together.
The hills were alive with wildflowers, and I was as wild, even wilder than they. For at least I could run, they just died in the sun, and I refused to just wither away. Just a wild mountain rose needing freedom to grow, so I ran, fearing not where I'd go. When a flower grows wild, it can't always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. And the flowers I knew in the fields where I grew were content to be lost in the crowd. They were coming in close, I had no room for growth, and I wanted so much to branch out. So I uprooted myself from my home ground and left, took my dreams and I took to the road. When a flower grows wild, it can't always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. I grew up fast and wild, and I never felt right in a garden so different from me. I just never belonged, I just longed to be gone. So the garden one day set me free. I hitched a ride with the wind, and since he was my friend, I just let him decide where we'd go. When a flower grows wild, it can't always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Just a wild rambling rose, seeking mysteries untold. No regret for the path where I chose. When a flower grows wild, it can't always survive. Wildflowers don't care where they grow. Wildflowers don't care where they grow.
streaks of gray. My pronouns are he, him. It is a joy to be with you today as we celebrate our annual Flower Communion. I especially want to welcome you if you're new to the church, if you're joining us remotely, and if you can, please say hello in the comments and let us know from where you're watching the service. If you're here in person, please join us for the social hour after the service. Either way, we invite you to fill out our online visitor form. Just go to austinuu.org, click on worship, and then click on the link to the form. We would love to get to know you just a little bit better.
And I am the Reverend Michelle LaGrave, the co-lead interim minister here, who is considerably shorter than 6 feet. Also white with lighter colored hair and some gray, and wearing a prophetic stole. My pronouns are she, her. It is a great joy to get to be here with all of you for our annual Flower Communion celebration. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or joined in, whomever you love, you are welcome here, you belong here. We come from a long tradition of seeing a spark of the divine in every person. It is in this tradition, this living tradition, that I invite you to greet the holy among us, either in the comments or by turning to those around you.
Good morning again. My name is Mary Overton. I am today's worship assistant. My pronouns are she, her. I am medium height, gray hair, and I'm wearing a black jacket embroidered in flowers. Now let's proceed with our chalice lighting. If you can say this with me, please. This is the flame we hold in our hearts as we strive for justice for everyone. This is the light we shine upon systems of oppression until they are no more. This is the warmth we share with one another as our struggle becomes our salvation. Our call to worship today was written by Diego Valeri. You who have an eye for miracles, regard the bud now appearing on the bare branch of the fragile young tree. It's a mere dot, a nothing, but already it's a flower, already a fruit, already its own death and resurrection. Please join us in our opening hymn. Please rise either in body or spirit, and let us sing together hymn number 63 from the gray hymnal, Spring Has Now Unwrapped Her Flowers.
One of the things that binds First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin together as a religious community is that we have a common religious purpose. For First UU Church of Austin, that purpose is our mission. The congregation wrote it together, we put it on our wall, and we say it together every Sunday so that we might more readily carry it in our hearts throughout the week. Let's say it together now. Together, we nourish souls, transform lives, and do justice to build the beloved community.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Go away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of colors. You belong in that home by and by. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere both out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. You deserve the deepest of colors. You belong in that home by and by. Here we go. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me, far away from your trouble and worries. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you feel free.
Good morning. I'm Kelly Stokes. I use she, her pronouns. I'm your Director of Lifespan Religious Education, and I'm going to read you a story. And I'd like to invite all the children and anyone who wants the best view of the pictures to come on up to the front. We can sit all among all these flowers up here, right by the chalice. Hey, hello. Come on up. So today's story is called A Crown for Corina, and it's by Laekan, Kemp, and Elisa Chavarri. And it's about a girl who has a family that comes from Mexico, and she's making a crown of flowers for her birthday, which is a tradition that they have in her family. So today is Flower Communion. I'm going to hold it like this, so if you can see the flowers, you'll be able to see the pictures. If not, I recommend scooching over here, and we still have lots of room. Feel free to scooch up or come fill in the gaps. So today is Flower Communion, which is a special Unitarian Universalist tradition that we do every year. And there's flower traditions all over the world that take all different kinds of shapes and sizes and traditions. So this is one that we're going to read about today. And we can think about what flowers mean to us in our tradition while we read about Corina's. Abuela's garden is bursting with colors so bright that it looks like La Tierra is throwing una fiesta. Today, the party is for me. It's my birthday, which means I get the biggest corona with the most beautiful flowers picked from Abuela's garden. Abuela hands me my canasta. Make sure you save some of the roses for me. I run through the flowers, feeling their petals graze the tips of my fingers. Some are soft and smooth, others prickly. Some even make me sneeze. Thank you. I reach the bluebonnets first. Have y'all sat in bluebonnets and touched them before? Have you seen what they feel like? I trace a finger down their bell-shaped petals. Abuela kneels next to me. Every flower in your crown must tell your story, Corina, who you are and where you come from. She plucks a purple orchid from one of the clay pots. Maybe like that? Yeah, me too. Your abuelo used to buy me orchids for our anniversary every year. She places it in her basket. Wearing it in my crown reminds me that I am loved. I look out at Abuela's garden at the bees and butterflies, and I see a language I never knew before. One spoken not in words, but in the prick of a cactus needle, in the bright orange plumes of a bird of paradise, and in the sweet scent of chocolate cosmos. All of those are plants. Yeah. Did you see the bunny? Where did you see the bunny? Was it right there? Okay. Let's see if we can see this bunny on other pages. Good eye. Now tell me, Abuela says, what do the bluebonnets mean to you? The bushy white tips remind me of Fofo's tail. He loves hopping through the flowers almost as much as I do. He's family, I say. Of course he is, she says, smiling, which means these conejos belong in your crown. I pick a sunflower for Mama because her favorite color is yellow,
sword lilies for Papa to match our sword fights before bed, and morning glories for Abuelo because they look like the trumpet he used to play. And this one's for you. I hand Abuela a bushel of coneflowers. It looks like your gardening hat. They're beautiful, mija. She places them in my canasta with the others. Now it's time to tell the next part of the story, who you want to be, Abuela says. Is it like making a birthday wish and blowing out the candles? She nods. Just like that. I pluck bright yellow esperanzas because they mean hope, daisies because they are strong enough to grow anywhere, and mist flowers because their sweet nectar is the butterfly's favorite. As Abuela helps me fasten them all to my crown, I ask, why do we wear las coronas, Abuela? When we place la corona on our head, we become its roots, reaching back through time to hold on to the things that matter, our family, our history. I touch the flowers again, one by one, and I see it all. My story, Mama's, Abuela's. As guests arrive for my party, I tell them the story of my crown, of all the ways that I am rooted in the people that I love. At night, I don't want to take it off, not even after Mama makes me put on my pajamas, not even after Papa finishes my bedtime story. A few petals fall onto the bed, some of the flowers beginning to drop. Abuela comes to sit next to me. Do you know why the flowers are beginning to wither, Corina? I shake my head. She takes my hand. Because we pulled them from the soil, and nothing can survive that far from home. She holds me close. You'll have other coronas, Corina, but just one family. Remember that. Through the window, I can see Abuela's flowers swaying in the moonlight. Each new bloom marks a new season. The coronas keep time too. This one says, I am 1 year older, that I am Corina Casares, daughter, granddaughter, wishmaker. I slip the crown off my head, but the love isn't gone. I still have my memories of the day I spent with Abuela in her garden, learning to speak the language of the flowers. And I still have more springtimes, more birthdays, more chances for my dreams to bloom. The end. So today, because this is a very special day with Flower Communion, we're going to stay here together in the sanctuary, and we're going to do a really fun ritual with the flowers later. So since we're staying, I have coloring sheets about Flower Communion. If you didn't get one out front, would anybody like one? Yeah? You want one? Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can. Would you like one too? There you go. Yeah, and we're going to go back to our seats as we sing our meditation song.
This is the time during the service when we commit to the mission and ministries of this church by making an offering. We give out of our own so that together we might build a better world. If you are new or visiting with us today, please allow the plate to pass you by. You are our guests. You can give in a few different ways. By going to austinuu.org and clicking on the link on the top right side of the page, or by texting your contributions to 84321. or by placing an offering in the basket the ushers are about to pass. Here in the sanctuary, the ushers will now collect our offering. Our reading today is Flower Communion by Lynn Unger. What a gathering! The purple tongues of iris licking out at spines of lupine, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like, this vibrant jostle, stem by stem declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight, purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone.
This is the time in our service when we center ourselves together. We breathe together. And breathing together, we sense one another's loving presence. Breathing in and breathing out, we follow our breath to a deeper place inside, a place of greater wisdom, a place of greater beauty, a place where a spark of the divine resides within each of us. As we quiet ourselves, let us bring to mind a flower. Imagine its shape, its color, its fragrance, its beauty. You are that flower, just as beautiful, just as unique as any other flower. Now imagine that flower in a field full of flowers. It belongs in that field just as much as any other flower. You are that flower, and that field is this congregation. You, I, we are all beautiful. We all belong. Now, as we continue to breathe together, let us enter into a time of sacred silence, all the while remembering that nowhere is the world fully silent. For the sounds of life. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you now to light a candle if you are so moved. Candles representing sorrow, joy, hope, remembrance, resilience, whatever it is that you need to honor during this time today. As we light these candles, I invite you to keep in your mind and heart members of our community who are ill or in sorrow, and those who are celebrating joys. Please especially hold Judy Parkin and the family and loved ones of Judy and Ed Parkin as they mourn Ed's death last Sunday. Now, let us hold the silence together throughout this meditative time.
Is there, case I want it all. He's scared, 'cause I won. He's scared, case I want it all. He's scared, 'cause I won. All in all, the clock is slow. 6 color pictures all in a row of a marigold. He's there, kiss I want it all. He's scared, 'cause I won. He's there, kiss I want it all. He's scared, 'cause I won. All in all, the clock is slow. 6 color pictures all in a row of a marigold. scared, 'cause I won. He's there, guess I want it all. He's there, 'cause I won. All in all, the clock is slow. 6 color pictures all in a row of a marigold.
And now let us light one last candle for all those for whom there is no one to light a candle.
On this Sunday, 101 years ago, Reverend Norbert Csekitz, the minister of the Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship, a Unitarian church, created what has become our flower communion. Reverend Csekitz needed a symbolic ritual that would bind people together as they faced the impending threats from Nazism in neighboring Germany. Csekitz turned to the beauty of the surrounding countryside and created a communion where congregants would bring flowers from their gardens, fields, or just the roadside and share them with one another, symbolizing that just as no two flowers are exactly alike, so each of us has an inherent and unique beauty. Well, Csekitz's wife, Maha, also an ordained minister, came to the United States in 1940 and introduced this ritual to the U.S. Unitarians while she was here. Unfortunately, she was not able to return to Prague at the time because World War II broke out. It was only after the war that she learned that the Nazis had sent Csekitz to a concentration camp. Even in the concentration camp, though, he held a flower ceremony with his fellow prisoners using whatever flowering weeds they could find, testifying to a love larger than themselves and that would outlive them. It's a ritual we still practice today. a ritual that still symbolizes both the unique, sacred beauty of each of us and the even greater beauty we create when we share that sacred uniqueness with one another. So we begin our flower ceremony today, during which we will no doubt use way too many metaphors having to do with flowers. To begin with, much is blooming here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Austin, so we have an entire garden full of rituals for you today. We will begin with our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Kelly Stokes, leading us in our annual rite of gratitude for our teachers. We'll follow that with our Board President, Gretchen Rehl, inviting our new Ministerial Search Committee members into a sacrament, recognizing the sacred duty they have assumed on our behalf. And finally, Reverend Michelle will take us into our beloved Flower Communion. Kelly?
We haven't paired Flower Communion and Teacher Appreciation before, but now that we're here, it seems so perfect. Flower Communion celebrates the different gifts each of us brings, creating a new and unique bouquet every time we come together, which is what we do every single Sunday morning in our religious education classes. Combining a different group of kids with different teachers and assistants and all the different gifts they bring, we never know what we're going to get. But every Sunday morning class, every bouquet is something to cherish and learn from. And I've been thinking about how flowers don't just come in bouquets and vases, but in waves, like they do in meadows or along the roadsides in the spring. Did y'all notice the bluebonnets this year? They just kept spreading and spreading, right? Until the whole sides of the hills along the highways were completely covered, solid blue hills. I watched them in awe, and I kept watching as they turned a little leggy and washed out, and as the first pink and orange flowers began to join them. And then, when they were done, the yellow flowers came. I don't know if this was a special year for yellow flowers or if I've just not noticed them before, but I'm thinking that my attention was attuned to those hillsides by the magnificence of the bluebonnets, so that when the glorious seas of yellow came to bob their happy heads, I was primed for wonder and appreciation. This is how it works in religious education as well. We have different ways of teachers, different waves of children, and different DREs coming through, offering us their gifts, and hopefully, if we're paying attention, priming us for wonder and appreciation of what's coming next. Every teacher that I've worked with here has taught me something different, and I've enjoyed working with each of them for different reasons, and this year's group has been spectacular. One thing this congregation does really well is fostering a culture of appreciation, not only noticing, but telling each other that we see the good that we are doing. So I invite you to tune up your sense of wonder and appreciation this morning as we thank these volunteers. I know that it's a little harder when you're not seeing them in action, when you haven't had a chance to peek into the classroom and see all the funny and wondrous things happening inside. So I'm asking you to take my word for it. It's awesome. And to be better prepared for Teacher Appreciation next year, you can always pop in on a Sunday morning and help out, and then you'll know. Not kidding. Our first group to thank today are those who showed up regularly throughout the year, some of them every single week. These people are the reason we were able to have Sunday school classes. Instead of applause, I invite you to wait until the end of each group and say with me, "Thank you for your gifts." Let's try it. Thank you for your gifts. Teachers, I invite you to come up and join me and choose an orchid here from the chancel as a living symbol of the beautiful gifts that you have given our church community this year. I hope that, like Corina, it reminds you that you are loved. First, the teachers of our youngest learners, the Ellery Church Mouse and Bluey classes for pre-K through second graders, Arwen Heilrain, Sev Severance, L.B. Lomelli, Margaret Callahan, Louise Tedford. Say with me, Thank you for your gifts. Come up and stay with me, okay? Teachers of our Superhero Academy class for 1st through 5th graders, Melanie Walter Mahoney, Molly Hahn, Scott Butke, Charlotte Werman, and Wayne Bachman. Y'all are so on top of it. I'd like to pause here for just a second and say a word about Wayne, Reverend Chris's spouse, who is at home receiving hospice care. Wayne has been a beloved volunteer teacher here for 5 years, beginning with our pre-K kindergarten class in 2019 and continuing to show up for Zoom classes every week during the pandemic. He went through the rigorous training to become an OWL facilitator and taught our first kindergarten and first grade OWL class last spring. He started us off with our new Superhero Academy class this past fall. And in addition to being great with the kids, the other teachers really appreciated that he knew more than them about the superheroes that they were studying. Wayne has always been kind and calm and insightful and dependable. But one of my favorite Wayne memories is when he told me he had bought a big batch of stickers and had been dreaming up fun activities to use them with the kids. I didn't know him that well yet, and it tickled me that here was this dignified, calm, retired physician getting excited about stickers. You get to bring the fun in RE, and he really showed that. So in his honor, I'm wearing stickers today, and I put some flower stickers in the foyer if you'd like some too. Thank you, Wayne. Our middle school advisors who brought the fun and reflection to our Games to Build Community class, John Archibald and Elle Stansel. Let's say thank you for your gifts. Our dedicated high school advisors who led our coming of age program, David Nunn, Sarah Frankie Summers, Bev Larkin. Bev has been a youth advisor for many years, and this is her last one. We thank you so much, Bev. Let's say thank you for your gifts. Our OWL facilitators teaching 5th and 6th graders this year, Amanda Ray, Jason Romero, Nancy Barnard, AJ Jaraska. Say with me, thank you for your gifts. And actually, Kinsey Shackelford taught that class too. Would you like to come up? Okay. Let's just say thank you, Kinsey, because she deserves lots of thanks all the time. Thank you, Kinsey. Our next group of volunteers were not in classrooms every week or month, but pitched in when we needed them. These people are the reason we didn't have to cancel classes when our numbers fell short. Volunteers, when I say your name, please stand or raise your hand if that's comfortable and allow us to recognize you. Let's wait until the end to say thank you to the group. Mary Richardson, Jenny Morrison, Caitlin Sickles, Maya Calhoun, Sarah Tanner, Skylar Tanner, Eileen Dombrowski, Shannon O'Farrell, Paul Wood, Ann Vance, Joe Milam Cast, Russell Holly Hurt. Nobody's standing up. Can you want to at least raise your hand so they can see you? Thank you, Ann, for being brave. Thank you, Paul, for also being brave. Let's say thank you for your gifts. I was going to say now stay standing, but that doesn't really apply. But I'm going to ask another group to stand up, please. So anyone who has taught RE classes in the past, please rise or raise your hand. Okay, keep it up, keep it up. And now everyone who facilitated an adult RE class. Okay. Now everyone who's a teacher, professor, homeschooler, instructor, school administrator. Go ahead. Can we all keep our hands up or stay standing if we can? Thank you. Yes. Let's say to all those who help us learn, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Gretchen Rehl. I'm your president of this congregation. I'm a white woman about 5'4", and I am of a certain age with mostly brown hair. And I am so pleased to welcome the members of the search committee for our co-lead minister to serve with Reverend Chris, that we are commissioning this morning so that we can begin the search later this month. And I would ask, if you're here, to please come forward and join me on the chancel so that we can bless your work. John Archibald, Nancy Barnard, Leo Collis, Michael Kersey, Jenny Lowland, Melanie Mahoney Walters, Jim Smith, and Tony Wagner. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to serve on the second Ministerial Search Committee, which I'm going to call MSC2. To call a co-lead minister for the First Unitarian Church of Austin. Calling a minister is one of the most important and sacred things we do as a congregation. So your service on this committee is essential to our success as a church. We appreciate the time and effort you will put into this venture. And last year's committee can attest that it's a lot. In order to fulfill your duties as MSC2 committee member, and by we I mean the board, we ask that you do the following as you carry out your duties. Search for and present to the congregation a candidate for co-lead minister to serve alongside the Reverend Chris Jimmerson. Adhere to the UUA guidelines and timelines. Consult and collaborate with Reverend Michelle LaGrave, Reverend Chris Jimmerson, our UUA Transitions Office representative, and each other. Make decisions collectively and collaboratively, and limit all discussions to times when all members are present. Listen deeply and fully to each other and to congregates, seeking first to understand. Represent the whole church and assure that all constituencies within our congregation are heard and represented in the gatherings and surveys you conduct. Abide by the covenant of healthy relations that has been adopted by this church. Do you agree to serve out these duties?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. We thank you for your work and wish blessings upon it. Our Ministerial Search Committee.
Like Corina, who carried her family's history within her corona, we UUs also carry our history within our shared living tradition, our shared faith life, and our shared flower communion. You've heard the story of Norbert Chopek. You may have been here to see the film about the Sharps War. You know that some of our own UU ancestors were lost in the concentration camps. There's one story you may not have heard of a wonderful, short, older, disabled woman when I met her. Her name was the Reverend Dr. Liz Strong. She was a minister of religious education and was well known in the Massachusetts area where I was working at the time. She was actually a mentor of sorts of mine. My first job in a church was not actually as a minister. I was an interim director of religious education, and Liz Strong was one of the people who mentored and consulted with me as I got a brand new religious education program going in the oldest congregation in Boston. So I know that we might think that things are old in Texas sometimes. But when I say the oldest, I mean they formed in 1630. So there was a lot of history that had been carried through that congregation and into the present, and she was a huge help, a huge strength, a wonderful religious educator, a wonderful minister. And so I want to begin our flower communion today with some words of hers. This piece is called Travelers Upon the Earth, and it is the invitation to enter into the communion of flowers and to do so with joyful hearts, carrying that history with us. So before I read these words from Liz, I want to give you a little bit of directions about how we might do this. So not everyone will have remembered or known that today is flower communion, and that is okay. This communion is for everyone, and so we have lots of extra flowers up here at the front. So it doesn't matter if you knew or if you brought anything. Everyone participates, and it's going to be a little bit of a mess, but we've got two separate tables here. Try not to knock each other over. But if we can sort of come up this way and then go out that way, that should work. Does that sound okay to everybody? Okay. All right. Travelers upon the earth. And the idea is that you leave one flower and bring a different flower if you haven't done this before. And if you are coming without a flower, just choose whichever you would like. Enter into the communion of flowers with joyful hearts. Enter with reverent thoughts. It has taken long months beneath cold ground for these flowers to prepare their blooming. It has taken each of us long times of growth through sorrow and joy to prepare for our living now. The blooming season is short. The flowers stay only a brief time. We are travelers upon the earth, travelers through all too brief lifetimes. Therefore, let our moments be bountiful. Let us rejoice in our unique colors, aromas, and sounds. Let us celebrate together in love, that as we travel away, we take with us the memory of golden hours together among the flowers. Let us commune together.
All blessings upon the blooming we have shared today, all blessings upon each of you. I bring this rose for the folks who have joined us online. We hope you will go outside and enjoy some flowers today. And I invite those in Housen Hall, if you did not get a flower, to come in after the service and get a flower. Now please rise and body your spirit, and let's sing together hymn number 38 from the gray hymnal, Morning Has Broken.
Please join me in saying the words as we have extinguished our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we hold in our hearts until we are together again.
As we go out into our world now, let us continue to share our unique gifts.
May we flourish and flower in communion with one another and all that is.
May we bring one another and our world delight.
May the congregation say amen.
Amen. And blessed be.
Go in peace.
peace.